Being broke is a temporary situation. Being poor is a state of mind. This is a quote by Mike Todd. And this gets me thinking, how do we begin to change a mindset from a scarcity mindset, from a poor mindset, to an abundance mindset, to a wealth mindset? I remember clearly when abundance walked into my own life. It was 2013. Nothing changed between these 2 days in 2013. My salary didn't increase, but my mindset shifted 360 degrees. And it was a page I read in a book, Gifted Hands by Ben Carson. He mentioned how his mom, Sonia Carson, encouraged him to buy only quality items and should not spend his money buying inferior things, as he may end up buying those things multiple times. And how being rich is a mindset and that it doesn't have anything to do with the money in your account. He talked about how you can have everything, you can have the money, but you can still have a scarcity mindset. You just will never think that you have enough. And I remember closing the book and asking myself, do I have a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset? Or I am basically just winging it? And I didn't know where I stood, to be honest. I didn't know. Because I know sometimes I buy things that are not quality, and I'm saying, you know what, it's cheaper. And then sometimes when I really like something, I go for it. And maybe it's more expensive, maybe it's quality, but I go for it because I like it. But you see, after reading this particular page, I realized that some things have to change. And like I said, 2 days, but they were very different in my mindset. The 4 things I changed are the things I want to share with you. Number 1, if I do not have money to buy a quality item, I do not buy it at all. I stopped buying things just for the sake of buying it, or just for the sake of, because it's cheap. I stopped getting attracted to sales, unless I really need it. I need that item. Then it doesn't matter whether you're running sales, whether it is, buy buy 10, get 10 free. I just sort of disconnect because I'm asking myself, do I need it? If I don't need it, then it doesn't make sense to me. And then for the quality things I buy, I stay committed to sweating them. I remember I bought a jacket once, and that jacket survived 3 companies with me. I always ask myself, whenever I want to buy something, am I being penny wise and pound foolish here? Or am I actually putting things that matter into consideration? For example, how long is this item going to last me? Do I really need this item? Those are the questions that I ask myself before actually spending that money. And I also stopped wanting to have a lot, and I started believing in having feel good items that would last me for a while. And then the second thing that I worked on is something I've always done. I have always kept a record of my income and expenses. I have a file, an Excel file that accommodates all my income. And I've had this from my PZ Cousins days when I started my career. And I still have it. Monthly, I know what comes in and I know how I expend it. And in this document, I also keep track of all my expenses and my savings and my investments. I joke that my head is where my money is. My head is where my money goes. Every expense is accounted for. Even if I give somebody some money, The person's name is going to be on my Excel document. And every month, I am basically checking which expenses are still worth carrying. Yes, I have an accounting background. I have always been in love with numbers. I think numbers are one of the best creation. And this habit of keeping tabs stuck with me because it helps me have better control of my expenses. I also keep a budget. So before the income comes in, I know how it is all going to be expended. What is going for my expenses, what is going for my savings, what is going for my investments. And you will not find any money just lying in there, with no direction. And I include in my budget also some headrooms because I know that there are some unplanned expenses that may come in the course of the month. And I wouldn't want to dip into my savings to fund those unplanned expenses. So that's my second advice, to have a record of your income and expenses and to track them. I think it helps you also get a grasp of what is coming in, what is going out, and then you can analyze what is going out to see what you can cut or what you can manage or what you can control. And then the third one that I have stuck to for many years is that my expenses never rise with my income. I know some people with every promotion, every pay rise, they sort of flex more. Well, whenever I get a promotion or get a pay rise, my savings increases and my investments increases. I prioritize also investing in myself, and I've seen over the years the correlation in my investments, in my personal development, and the growth in my income. So while I try to keep my expenses flat, I increase my investment in myself, and it in turn increases my income. And this has just worked for me. And there was a time when my expenses were about 20% of my income, and this allowed me to invest in real estate. So my advice here is that, if we track our expenses, we manage it well, and with every increase in income, we try to not match up, match up the increase rates with our expenses rate. I think it will give us more room to invest or save and also invest in our own personal development. And then the fourth one is that I plan ahead. I am never one to do pressure purchases. If I cannot buy it twice, then I cannot afford it. It's as simple as ABC. For example, I do not buy phones every year. I remember one day my 9-year-old wanted iPhone 15, and I was like, "You want iPhone 15?" Even I, your mother, I'm still on iPhone 13. Don't get me wrong. If you can afford it, of course, why not? If you can afford it with your current income levels and it's important to you, by all means, go ahead. For me, I try to attach it to a goal I have set for myself. For example, I said to myself, if I get a distinction in my MSc, I would get myself the latest Samsung S24 Ultra. And I did, and I got it. So I sort of like to tie my, how do I call it now? My friend said it's called shiny toys or something. I sort of, if I want to indulge myself, I sort of add it to something. But I'm never one to say iPhone this is out and I'm switching to this. iPhone this is out and I think if you really want to do something and it matters a lot to you, you can plan ahead and say, okay, I need to get this in 3 months, and then you can save for it and get it. And who knows, at the end of 3 months, you might have something else that you want to spend the money on, which probably is more effective or more productive than your earlier, wants and desires. So for me, those are the 4 things that I think have worked for me to manage my expenses and also increase my ability to also grow my income. I believe that financial discipline is important, and we all should have this discipline. We cannot wing it, and we also need to develop that abundance mindset. I always want to remember that the real measure of our wealth is how much we are worth if we lost all our money. And that means that we have to continuously also invest in ourselves so that even when we lose the money, we can always create it again. And we all know money flows to where value is. So the more value you give, the more money comes to you, the more you invest in yourself, the more you learn, the more value you're able to give. That's the way it works. We must always gain control over money, or the lack of it will forever control us. And the last one, which I will be leaving with, is to say that there is something also I am trying to work on now. I think I've been saying I can't afford it for a while now. For example, my son will say, "Oh, that Tesla, mommy, that Tesla," and I'll say, "I can't afford it." What I've learned now is to say I can't afford it now, rather than I can't afford it. And the difference is that the latter shuts down your brain, and then the former leads to another question: how can I afford it? If I cannot afford it now, how can I afford it? And this opens us up to possibilities, options, and some excitement. I hope you learned something from this episode. If you love this episode, please subscribe, and I promise to always bring more content your way. And if you're listening to this on any of your podcast platform, please follow. This means a lot to me than you'll ever know. Thank you. And until next time when I come your way again, I remain yours, Ade.